Alright, as I promised you, it's time for a little walk in the woods again. Now, I have visited the Ostwall many times. As you know, we've seen a lot of what's there, the big tunnels, the domes, and what else. But I was told by a little bird, actually it was a drunk Polish person, however, that there is one of the oldest type Panzerturm still intact on a large bunker out in the woods that are also mostly intact. It is somewhere out here. So, braving the mosquitos, I thought it was time to try to find it. And also, we will pass one of the water locks, and as you may remember, that is a big part of the Ostwall strategy. It was to flood the fields when the enemy came. There was just a problem with that. At the time the Russians did come, it was winter, the lakes were frozen, and the fortification was manned by soldiers not familiar with the plans. Many of them fought hard, some got away, while many more were captured, surrendered, or killed. But still, let's go for a walk in the woods amongst the trenches and battlefield here and see if we can find a little steel. Now you know how this starts. We're in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by mosquitoes. There's no tire lying there in the woods, so you know we're dealing with World War II. I know that somewhere in this very long line of east wall bunkers, there's one of them that has a steel turm that has a steel dome still intact. Actually one of those half domes, Panzerturm. And I want to find it because I want to see it because nobody messed with it. And loose coordinates, as you all know, leads us to long walks in the woods. But the east wall really is impressive. We trekked, the 27 kilometers of tunnels, and that doesn't include all the bunkers and fighting positions, of which one should be right in front of me, as you can all clearly see. Right? Right. So, in the jungle here, there's a string of these. This probably have seen better days. It appears to have scattered itself tactically over a wide area. Something happened to this. That almost looks like there's one of the dragon's teeth sitting there. It is, isn't it? Looks like a dragon's teeth. This is the inside wall corner. Huh. Okay. This was the center, I think. Wow. There's not a lot left of this big puppy here. Side wall. This is not the one with the intact dome. As you may have guessed, there will be a little bit more research needed. Yeah, this was the center of it. Single story and very well destroyed. Alright, there's a piece of it sitting over here. This would be an artifact. So the very destroyed bunker's down there, and I sort of saw something that I figured was just going to be a trench. It is not. It is a running trench leading to a little brook. How very interesting. There's a little brook sitting here, intermittent between the forts. See the running trench running both directions. So if you follow this running trench, we'll get to the next bunker or another little brook, or to the rare area hospital. So, hey, we'll see. It's another little fighting position. The river's to the left, the bridge is over there. Water is right here.
So you see the little river here. It's not wide enough for determined attack, and bridge laying equipment is not deep enough. The Russians would make it over here. So behind me is there's one of the positions. They're strung out here along this little lake, little river, that probably could be defended, flooded a little more, but still. So besides the larger fighting position overlooking the river here, you have another little Tobruk, which makes perfect sense. And behind it, you still have a quite deep running trench that'll take you back to the positions. This is quite well designed. Whatever did they do to this poor thing? I mean, they really did like to blow these up, but, well, I see a little steel here. See a little rubble here. Wow, this cracked up well. There's what's left of a steel dome. That, I presume, oh wow, there's actually quite a bit left of it. See how thick it is? And just imagine the scrappers out here with a torch cutting pieces of this every night. I hope it's worth it for them. Well, I can get into it right there. I'll go have a look, see if there's anything left of it. Here's how they cut it. I mean, it must take quite a bit of equipment to actually cut this thing. I would have preferred if they hadn't. And this blew up and collapsed into itself. This was the ceiling that pancaked. When they blew it, it went, probably this was the ceiling of this section that exploded and flipped over and landed there. This is rather large. Must have been at least 2 domes, if we can find another well for it. Well, that's interesting. The entrance into the dome looks like it's been blocked. Oh, well, let's go and see, have a look. Wonder if this is a 1 or a 2 story. I wonder if I'm going to be able to find out and tell you. I think the other dome is over there, which means we should be able to get in under it. Let's look at that. Really see how it disassembled. Give you an idea how they put it together, how deep down the dome was actually anchored into the fort. It's amazing to see it like this. There's the ditch. This was inside. At one point this was all inside. Well, this is a close defensive position. So it looks like there are 2 entrances. Let's try to take a look at the entrance that is not flooded. Ooh, that is the one right over the ditch, over the dip. The coloring here is interesting because they all used to be painted roughly the same green, maybe for camouflage, but this orange looks authentic. Well, somebody painted it some years after the war. This is the ditch.
And there should be also another entrance, I can show you.
I braved the bugs. And down, this might be down floor, which is obviously completely flooded. So here I am inside the firing position here. Ventilation. This should lead me to under the other dome. This is fairly flat. Should be safe. That's kind of fun. Here you have the firing position in the bathroom as a urinal. Right next to the urinals, it's the firing position. Just like the Mutzig, the Franco-Prussian forts, National Line forts, there's a fighting position. Even castles, there's a fighting position in the bathroom. And this was a bathroom. There's stand-up urinal. Fighting out of the crapper is a real thing. Fighting your way out of the crapper, I guess, would be a real thing. Cubicle ammunition room. I think there was a second floor, but I don't actually know. My thoughts are that there was no second floor on these because they're so close to the river. Look at all that shrapnel on the wall here. Look at that. Yeah, that was something that looks like it exploded in here as well from within the room. Although the floor looks perfectly intact. And there would have been power supply sitting here. I think a rather substantial platform for a small fort here, I'll say. Huh. Imagine that. This thing, it's not going anywhere. Don't actually know what it is. I haven't seen that info. It could be, no, it couldn't be. I keep thinking Flamethrower, but there's a solid roof over my head, so that's not the case. Well, still get in here. Oh, that's the emergency exit. That's rather shallow. Ventilation going through. Oh. That must have been a downstairs. Ooh, there is a downstairs. Because that is the bottom with the flamethrower. And they try to get the nuts off some of them, the scrappers did. That's actually cool to see. Everything that's left on the wall. Blowing up a flamethrower, I totally understand. The water tank. Not as big as in one of the bigger forts. Yeah, middle tank will throw water here. Individual rooms in this. I mean, they generally were laid out the same, but not entirely. It is wet and damp here. attachments on the wall. And that's why I don't think there was a real second floor. Just a dip for the canister for the flamethrower. It's just so damp here by the river. I don't think they could have done it. Yeah. It's on the dome. There's one of the anchors that cracked. And pipes let into here. Another anchor. Well, clearly this is not the one where the steel dome was intact. Let's get back to the hunt. See if I can't find you one complete Panzerturm. One more. Oh, I can also come out here. That's the other dome well. I think here was the auto mortar. I think this was the auto mortar in here. That's the other dome. Flamethrower should be around here somewhere. You can see the maker's mark right there. The dome I was just in. $1936. And this is all that's left of the flamethrower. A terrifying weapon. In my search for an intact steel dome, I keep coming through running trenches. The trenches just cross this area, and somewhere in this general neighborhood is where we're going. I kind of want to follow the trenches, see what you find. Be interesting with a metal detector, since they were fighting here in this area. But there's a plan to the madness here. It may just not be that it's a good plan.
Not? Okay.
What are we not?
We are at the first side and another one is somewhere.
On this side?
Yes, there should be another one there.
Well, this is one of the water locks that is truly in the middle of nowhere. Ah. Well, that's an interesting configuration. I guess this was the main weapon of intent for the East Wall, water. And water locks to direct and guide the water and flood the advanced zones. And then the second weapon of the East Wall are the mosquitoes, because everything around here are swamp. And I think I have a good 18-20 new holes in me. So I hope you appreciate this water lock here, because you're never going to see it again. After I leave, I'll have it blown up as I have intentions of spraying DDT and Agent Orange all over this forest to kill every winged living creature. And I don't know if that particular one was wartime production, but well, if I fall into it, since of course the bunker we're looking for is on the other side, if I fall in, I will look for the maker's marks and I'll let you know. One, we'll climb this here. Oh hell, this is solid. I thought this was just a flimsy post-war construction. This is original. Wow, this is built to last. Wow. Now it's the easy bit of navigation, because of course the bunker you have to see is on this side of the river, and here are the running trenches throughout the landscape, completely undisturbed up to the water obstacle here. That's the first time I really see that much trench work on the east wall. Not the first time I see the massive amount of mosquitoes defending it. Over here's a trench cut by the road. Yeah, this shows a real. Whoops, what do we have here? A little brook, maybe? Yes, we do. Overlooking the river down there, like the other place. There's a brook. Very cool. Now that we braved the swamp, literally, and the waterlogged, literally, I see something that is shining like a Nazi gold train right there. And God knows the Polish scrappers went out of their way to scrap all of these. This is so deep in the middle of nowhere. Wow, it's all intact, it's in one piece. Ain't that just damn pretty? And that is not even one of the standard models. I haven't seen one like this before. Wow. I have never seen one designed like this. This must have been for something bigger than a machine gun. It must have been for an anti-tank cannon. Had the observation up there. So what are we looking at over the river here? We're not looking at, well, the water's down there, so enemy approach would be over there. There could have been anti-tank guns in here. Even the casting is different. The metalwork looks different than I've seen before on some of these. What a beautiful thing. It's a half dome. It's a Panzerturm. Oh, I can't wait to get into this thing. This is absolutely awesome.
Now, there is a good reason why this bunker is covered up. Apparently, somebody had begun to move in here, clean it up, and was planning some sort of private use for it. And given how pristine it is inside, with no graffiti, many of the rooms are still intact, it was decided from high above to close the access in order to prevent anything happening to it or any vandalism, because it really is beautiful to see. The option, however, remains for me to take possession of it, fix it up, put a door on it, lock it with a key. However, that will cost all of us, and you may have noticed that there's no road leading here either, and it is well protected in the summer by the flying hordes of mosquitoes. However, I am really glad it exists, and it is somewhat safe. But it would have been nice if they had left a key in a front door instead of just covering it up. But now we know it's here, and we'll go back to it someday.
if this is an indication how big this place is, then I'm walking around on top of it, and there's an entrance somewhere. There have to be some more holes, domes, something. I think the entrance is down there or down here. This, I would have expected here to have been fighting position or dome. I think I'm standing over some sort of entrance, and then there's over here. Don't know what's over here. Wow. But here on the side, I don't know what it looks like. This is, I suppose there could have been another here that had been removed, but bit of steel there. Maybe no ventilation over there. I don't know what this was. It doesn't look like anything I've seen on any of these. I'm terrified as I walk over here because it looks like they covered up the entrance. All of them they did. It's just unacceptable on a level I cannot even begin to describe. Yeah, this is new. So you can't get into it as a museum, and you can't get into it at all. You all know all those words that I use when children are not listening. They're all going through my head right now. I want to get inside this thing. Maybe not today, but at some point in time. So right here, two more of those new plates. Here was a dome. Why did they do this? I do not understand. This is such a big bunker. They haven't gone to any trouble to close any of these whatsoever, except this one. Why? Oh God, there's a staircase. It is all intact. It's all intact in there. Staircase going down. Let's see over here. Try to move to the front one.
What would you like?
Move the light to the front one. The front hole. These people used to be in here. This is just a clean armored tower. Oh, I'm heartbroken. I can't get in. Oh, you donkeys, you. Just look at how big the bunker is. I absolutely refuse to accept that I can't get into this. Also, there's a lot of holes. Could be shell holes, grenade holes. Could have been foxholes, trenches. Right around that. I don't know if this might have been. Here's more trenches. Could have been another foxhole. A lot of trenches running in there. And here behind the bunker, you see this little hill? Again, covered with trenches. This is almost the closest thing to an untouched east wall area I've seen. Except whatever they did in there, but there are trenches running through the whole neighborhood. This was, and the trenches would have been dug before the Russians got here, not for the initial construction. So these are fighting trenches. A split trench. This one running to the Tobruk. Over here. Splits again. The road's newer. then the water. Side the waterworks is an entrance.
Oh, Jesus!
This is what's in here to control the mechanism. Oh, Jesus Christ!
So many?
Oh! So, I thought initially that this was going to be some post-war, interesting, just a fix for low water mark. I'll see in a minute. It's actually not. Unless I fall in the water. If I fall in the water, I'll look for the mater's mark underneath. Not to worry. You see this thing? I didn't think this initially this was original until I got to it. This is heavy. Very heavy duty. This is the biggest weapon of the East Wall. Alright, onwards.
Now we have many more battlefields to visit, so don't forget to like and follow. And if you don't, I will tell your wife you're sleeping with her sister. Alright? Now, see you next time, and see what comes after this.
My name is Tino Struckmann. I run Lost Battlefields. Every year, I travel around the world to try to bring you to all the most interesting historical military locations from modern wars and the World War II special projects, battlefields, forts, fortresses, and tunnels, everything else. Things you may not be able to see or go to yourselves. Please join me on Patreon or join Lost Battlefields through the website so you get access to all my files and my notes. It really does help, and like, follow, share here on the channel if you can. That helps too.